And so without further ado, we welcome back another second guester to the Yo DNB Wraps interviews. He was actually the very first interview we did on the series. So you probably already know who he is now, all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico, across in the States, the one and only ESKR, aka Brett. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Yeah, doing good. Doing real good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming back on, mate. Really appreciate it. It's nice to get a bit of face-to-face with you every so often, since we do quite a bit of work together throughout the year.
Yeah, for sure.
And it looks like you've kind of changed your setup behind as well. It was there was a bit here and there and everywhere last time. It's a lot neater and tidy. So you've either doing something for the music, or you've got a lady in the house now who's tidying up for you. Which one is it?
Yeah, well, I kind of getting it set up to probably start doing some like live streaming. So I've moved the decks around and so the camera can view it, and kind of got things a little bit different organized for that. So probably be doing some live streaming here coming soon. So
oh, that's great. I really want to get into doing that myself. Been a bit restricted with the children being so young at the minute, but yeah, as soon as I kind of get some room, I really want to get back into it, because it's great practice for DJing as well, isn't it?
yeah.
Don't get enough for it. In lockdown, I was doing loads of it, but yeah, not since then.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I see a lot of people still doing it though. I thought it would kind of disappear, but it seems like it's like really still happening like that. So that's cool. I like that.
Some shows have picked up again a little bit, haven't they? They seem to be go-to ones. I mean, just for example, there's two I watch regular. I watch Stonk's show on Best Drum and Bass, obviously Ollie, big up Ollie. But I also watch Bez and Gydra, who do the Neurofunk show. Have you ever watched that one?
I've seen the clips, a lot of the clips. Yeah. I've never watched it all the way through yet, but I've seen tons of the clips. Yeah.
Well, they've got a great. Sorry, go on.
No, I'll just say a lot of excitement with those. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a lot of passion in there. They're dancing and stuff, and basically they have one guy DJing and the other guy just talking and just kind of fist bumping and things like that. It's great, isn't it? It's a great show to watch.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong when it's full of dub plates as well, can you? That's one of the main things. Great stuff. So we're here to talk obviously about the last year, really. You've got a remix with us on this 50th release album. More of that in a moment. But since your release with us on Dirtbox last January, what have you been up to?
Just I guess just had a handful of other releases just throughout the year, various ones, I guess, Grand Theft Auto and Abducted Limited, Boom Slang Recordings. So those have been some of the main staples, I guess. But yeah, there's a few more things coming up now. Along with that, like we did the Grand Theft Auto and one more thing, Patreon exclusive back like about a year ago, but that's actually getting re-released as on Spotify and stuff now. That's coming up here in a couple of weeks, so that's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great release. Was that with One More Thing with Dave? Was it slightly?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yep. So that was a cool release. There was like four or five tracks on there.
Excellent. And you, like you said, on Grand Theft Auto, you had that amazing release, Gorilla Glue EP. That was fantastic. And my personal favorite over the past year that's not been Dirtbox related, Valles Marines, was it? On Boom Slang. Wow, what a fucking EP. That was it was kind of like a bit of a homage to some of the old Dark Step tracks as well, weren't it? Some big amens on there and pots and pans.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, I have my vinyl. I recently before I made that, I went through all my old vinyl that was from like around like the early 2000s to 2007 basically, and just all sorts of like Barcode, Renegade Hardware, Lifted, just all sorts of stuff from back then. And it really kind of like tapped into my head. So when I started making some stuff, it really influenced that EP a lot. So sure. But since then I've kind of readjusted my brain again to kind of looking forward to doing some like newer stuff and some more like kind of more up to date, kind of little fresher stuff, I guess, in my mind.
Yeah, and there's been, like I say, there's been quite a quite a spread of DNB subgenres that you've been touching on this year. Do you feel that maybe, in a way, are you kind of trying to find more of a sound that you touch on, or do you just love just dipping into everything every so often?
Yeah, I mean, that's how it's been. It's just kind of like more of how I feel and just kind of going with my feelings of that time period or day, or just kind of those moments and stuff. But I am trying to focus more in and like, you know, fine tuning the sound that I can stick with for a little bit and kind of like, you know, grow off that. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I've kind of slowed down on my production recently, kind of aiming toward that for the most part. So, and that's, you know, partly part of the reason I'm going to be doing a bunch of mixes, and I have been doing some mixes recently, DJ mixes, just kind of refreshing my brain, getting some new ideas in there, stuff like that. So
Yeah, I remember you mentioned you were going to be slowing things down a little bit just to kind of concentrating in on that. But I do love the variety. I mean, it's something that's been a little bit more common. I love that a lot of producers now that in drum and bass, they're not trying to be restricted to kind of one subgenre or sound. They're just making what they feel. And I don't know.
yeah,
I think I am generally drawn to those kind of artists a lot. I think that's why we started speaking, and obviously Impex and Beskar and things like that. And the label Dirtbox is all about that. It's not restricted to one sound. I love
yeah,
to, you know, I love to sign music with producers and say, just make me something. But, you know,
yeah,
and if we like it, we like it. Doesn't matter if it's liquid or, you know, neurofunk or pots and pans. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
something that I love to kind of keep fresh, and it keeps your interest perked as well, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think as no matter how hard I try to do something, or like try to do something a certain way, and it never comes out that way. It just kind of comes out my sort of version of it, and just kind of like, you know, that's what I guess it keeps it a little bit more
Yeah.
wide wide like that, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And like I say, when I say I noticed how it paid homage to that kind of sound as well with that EP. That's my roots with drum and bass. So my first experience of actually loving and jumping onto drum and bass. Obviously, I'd heard it previously, but I mine was Barcode and Freak Recordings and a lot of the US producers, Evil Intent and things like that, and Pish Posh, who we'll be talking about shortly. These were the guys that really got me into that sound, along with Spore, Noisier, and artists
Yeah.
like that as well. Is that something that you kind of like to play true to and obviously pay homage to with those kind of tracks?
I guess, and yeah, I mean, in a sense, I mean, it's definitely like, you know, part of my background for sure. I mean, that was during the time actually I worked like at a record store, so I was getting all sorts of free like promo vinyls of all that stuff, and had my access to everything like for cheap and stuff. So I really was like that time period, and that's when I was living in SF, was like really a big part of my, you know, really getting into drum and bass. I mean, I was, you
Yeah.
know, started in '99 with drum and bass, but that time period was definitely a real golden era for myself, I guess I would say.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Quick question on that though. So, in your opinion, um, two questions actually. Who do you think in that old school sound is probably one of the most underrated producers? And question two, out of all the ones that actually left, because tons of them have left, haven't they? They're not doing drum and bass anymore, or move on to other sounds, they're just not producing now. If you could bring one back to do an album, which artist would it be?
Well, I mean, you know, that whole I would say like Violence Recordings, you know, being from the United States and everything, and from the West Coast where I was, I mean, that was a really big thing. And just people like Hive and Gridlock and Echo and stuff like that. I mean, all those guys were, you know, they're amazing. So it's like, you know, Hive, I think he's just maybe doing mastering now, and I think Gridlock's starting to do some more stuff again. But like Echo, like he used to be like one of my favorites for sure too. It'd be great to see someone like him, you know, getting back into it and stuff. But I mean, I really have no idea what, you know, he's been doing. I don't think he's been doing any drum and bass. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys. I mean, like you got UFO. He's still around doing his own thing, different genres all the time. And I've seen him doing some jungle and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of those West Coast guys, I mean, lived out there for a while, so it's like they were a big influence for me, and you know, looked up to those guys a lot. So
Yeah, and I share that sentiment as well. As I say, it was mainly the US guys with a sprinkling of the UK guys that really got me into the sounds of drum and bass. And what about underrated? So if you think of the artists that we had back then, was there any that you think were really underrated for the music that they were doing?
I mean, at the time, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'd say like people like, you know, Hive and Gridlock and stuff, but like, I wouldn't say they were underrated because at the time, I mean, they were really blowing up and getting releases on all sorts of, you know, huge UK labels, Metalheads and just Virus and all that. So, you know, I mean, maybe they were underrated like for people in the UK and stuff. I don't know. But I mean, as far as, you know, people from here, I mean, you know, they were doing it, you know, so it's, I guess, yeah, I'm not sure if you consider them underrated by any means, but yeah.
No, I feel I mean, in the bigger term, I suppose they are underrated. If you're looking at drum and bass as a whole, aren't you? And in every genre, you know, they probably should have been a lot bigger than what they were, even though they were smashing it. I mean, to answer that question for myself as well, I would say if there's anybody I could bring back, and he would have to bring back the sound he was doing, not an incarnation of it, it'd be E1. Or as everybody knows him today, Kill the Noise. I would love to hear him do a ton of old school barcode style stuff again. That would be that for me. You know, some quality tracks obviously on some of the albums there. And in terms of underrated, there was one artist, and I used to, he was an American artist, and you're familiar with him, I'm sure you are. Assassin as well. So
he's still doing stuff. Actually, he's still releasing, and he's been releasing on Abducted Limited recently, and he's got a radio show going and stuff. But yeah, he was definitely a staple of all of that too, for sure.
Definitely. His stuff, he did some crazy stuff as well. I mean, like, you know, I've talked about this before on the show that a lot of me discovering artists was going on Soulseek and just obviously looking around there because I didn't know where to, you know, find new artists. And obviously you start to discover it all. And he was one of the first artists kind of I found after typing in Noisia and Spore. And he did, I wish I could remember the name of the track. I still own it, but he did a track that was just full of music and samples from Resident Evil. Do you know the one that I'm talking about?
I can't think of specifically.
But I know. Maybe I'll edit it in later. So if I find it, I'm going to edit it into the show later. But yeah, absolutely awesome. And I think he was very underrated for the kind of, you know, crazy music that he was doing back then. He definitely should have been getting more props. 100%.
You know, another person, I guess, too, would be someone like Dream. I think he's up in Canada though, but he really was tied into all of that, and you know, he was releasing on all sorts of labels during that time too, and you know, he's still doing his thing and DJing and putting out releases, so that's good to see he's still around.
I believe I got him on socials. I've spoke to him a few times. He's always grabbing stuff off the mailer that we send out as well with the releases, so it's glad to see that he's still supporting drum and bass as well. That's another big name from back then as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in terms of productions then, do you have much in the pipeline that's going to be on show? I mean, obviously we've got the big Dirtbox 50th release, and we'll come to that in a second, but what else is going to be on show for you this year?
So coming up recently or soon, as I mentioned, that Algorithms, that's on that One More Thing. Besides that, actually, I'm really excited about this. I got a release coming out in Grand Theft Auto. I had a song called Get It that came out on my album that came out on Grand Theft Auto like 2 years ago. But the group Hologram actually did a remix of it, and they did an amazing job. And it's super exciting to have like those guys, you know, remix my song. But those, I'm not sure if everyone's familiar, but that's like Degs and Citrus Fly and D-Tune make up Hologram as like a super group type thing. So, but yeah, I love that tune, and I'm really excited that they did that. And that's coming out toward the end of March, I believe.
Brilliant. They're doing a lot of different stuff as well, aren't they? Some quite diverse stuff here and there, a bit different than the norm.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's they got an interesting sound. They definitely have been doing so.
For sure. And have you still got heavy involvement in Boomslang Recordings as well? Obviously, one of the bigger United States labels at the moment. You've got a lot of output on there. Obviously, you work closely with Mike Geigen as well. Are you still working close with those guys?
Yeah, yep. We basically, for the most part, there's a big group of people that help with the promotion and stuff, but basically Mike, critical control or critical control point, that's it. And Amy, Octane and Amy, and then Mike, the four of us have like a group chat that we kind of, we all work together on like the direction that we want to go, and people we want to sign, and just like what to do with the marketing. But we all work together and just basically vote on stuff, or just give out ideas of directions we could go with stuff. So we kind of have like a little group thing, and for the most part we're helping Mike out.
That's great.
This.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Critical Control and Amy. They're very passionate about the drum and bass. That seems to be everything they post about. So it's good to have people on your side like that who really want to get stuck in and be involved in a project like Boomslang, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great to have them on for sure. Yeah, they do a great job.
So let's have a listen to some of this music then. Obviously, you are well represented on this 50th release, aren't you, Brett? Quite a few in there. There's a couple of remixes from yourself, and there's a few remixes of your tracks as well. So yeah, super heavily represented on the 50th release. So we're going to start with one of your tracks. This is a Pish Posh remix of Time at this point. There we go. That's the Pish Posh remix. I love saying that word, Pish Posh. Pish Posh. I love saying it. But yeah, this is one that you recommended to me as well. And obviously, when you said the name Pish Posh, we've just been talking about classic Barcode and Evil Intent acts. Pish Posh is one of those that's part of that gang, isn't he?
Yep, for sure. Yep.
And he's obviously been quite active of late with the productions. Did he take a long layoff? Did he before he was doing some recent stuff last year?
I think he's been continuously working, I've seen, and releasing on some like US labels and stuff going through time. Like, I don't think he ever really like stopped or anything like that. But I mean, you know, what was it, about a year ago, him and I released a track together on Patrol the Skies, and actually we have another collab that's supposed to come out on an album of his. I'm not sure when that's coming out, but you know, we've done a couple collabs you know, semi recently, and then when this project came up, I was like, you know, he was one of the first people I thought of to see if he'd be willing to, you know, do a remix. So, and luckily he was. So yeah, that seems to be doing good with the on the promo side right now.
For sure. Yeah, I'm so happy that you set that up as well. Keith's he's an amazing bloke. He's really nice to talk to. I hope we are able to get him on an interview for this, but again, timing with being in the States and the UK, it doesn't always work out, unfortunately. So again, thank you for that, Brett. But yeah, I mean, I was absolutely loving this remix. It definitely put it not taken away too many elements from it, but he'd given it a nice, fresh, like different swing to it, hasn't it? If you get me.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Yep.
I mean, one idea that I have actually had for Dirtbox as well, obviously from, you know, like I say, I've seen Assassin and Psydream and Pish Posh. I'm really thinking about maybe putting a release together as like a homage to like the Barcode sound and things like that, just as one release with just those kind of artists on from back then. So I don't know, I'm maybe going to try and get that sorted out pretty soon. What do you think?
That'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
You would. So let's have a listen to another one of the tracks that we had remixed from your EP. In fact, all three of your tracks from your release on Dirtbox have been remixed on this album. This one is Let's Do It, and this is the Noise Souls remix. Okay, there we go. Noise Souls smashing it out the park on this one. They put their signature sound on it. What do you think of this one, Brett?
I really liked it. I love the drive on it, and just like the frequencies were just really good on it. Like just really hit really nicely. I was really happy with it.
Yeah,
Sure.
these guys, they came out of nowhere for me. I forgot the label that I discovered them on, but they're actually from Argentina. They're Argentinian, so they don't speak good English. So it takes a little while for us to obviously get to the bottom of things when we're having a conversation, which is fine. Obviously, and unfortunately, we can't get them on the podcast unless we get a translator. But yeah, Noise Souls for me last year, they had an EP on Dirtbox, and they almost bring almost like a techno sound to the rolling drum and bass, don't they? They tone it down, they simplify it, but it's got like a driving kind of chugging feel into it, hasn't it?
Yeah, techie feeling. Yeah, I like it.
I've actually not spoken to the guys in a while. I believe they've been moving, so they've well, just to let you all in on just a little secret with this, Noise Soul's actually done an album for us on Dirtbox. He finished the album and he says, right, I can move house now. So my album, well, his album for me was actually holding his move up, but he got it finished before he did, because he thought, well, I'm not going to be on the internet. I'm not going to have my studio. So yeah, could be a couple of months before we see him. But yeah, this is a phenomenal remix. I hope that he gets online and sees that we're about to release it, because he should be really proud of this work in my eyes. So on to the next remix, and it is obviously your cohort, the one and only Mike Ragascum, aka Geigen.
Yep.
This is a banging remix, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, yep.
So he's remixed Mechanisms, probably the most popular track from your Dirtbox release. We're going to get straight into it now. This is ESKR Mechanisms, and this is the Geigen remix. There we go. So that's the final of the 3 remixes that we've got on here, but it's not the last representation from ESKR. Before we move on, Brett, what did you think of the Geigen remix? Pull it apart and let me know what your thoughts are.
I thought it was great. He definitely brought it up a notch for sure. Brought in a lot of new elements and stuff, and it was really, really like moving. Like I really liked it a lot. So
Mike's productions are getting great, aren't they, as well? I mean, he showcased some real talent on that Dirtbox EP last year. Do you feel like me, he's kind of captured like an updated version of some of the old Loxy Inc. and Renegade Hardware sound in a way?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, he was always into that sound a lot too, so it doesn't surprise me at all that he's been, an influence from back then also coming out now.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, well, we're loving this remix. Again, all 3 of these are going to be released on the 50th release Dirtbox album very soon on April the 5th. Now it's on to your remixes, Brett. We'll have a deep dive into these 2 here. We're going to start with the first one that happened last year and give a bit of backstory on this as well. But let's have a listen to it first of all. This is the UK producer Sonication featuring the lovely Rio on vocals. And this is Hide the Lies, the ESKR remix. There we go. Phenomenal remix. And of course, the original of this was a liquid track on our Vibe City LP last year. Now, just a bit of backstory with this. When Sonication came to us with this track as a submission, we signed it up straight away. He was very adamant that we looked at getting a remix done. So we gave him a few options, and top option was ESKR. He wanted to get you to actually do a remix on this, and you smashed it out the park, mate. You took a liquid track into, well, almost like it's like a, not a commercial track, but a bit more of a party drum and bass track, isn't it, what you've done to it?
Yeah, I'd say so. I just try to just add my little flavor to it. But yeah, I mean, that track's really, really cool. I love it. The original, the vocals, and then the production, and like all the sounds, like the bass and the melodies and everything. I was really impressed with that song, and just to be able to get my hands on it was fun. So I enjoyed it.
And what's your take when obviously doing a remix as well? Is there anything specifically you look for, and was obviously just doing a vocal something that really stood out to get your teeth stuck into?
I mean, the vocals were really nice to, that was a nice additive to it all to be able to work with, because I mean, they just sound great. Like pretty much anything you do with them would sound great. But basically it's just anytime I get a remix, I just listen to what I was given, like the stems and stuff, and then just from there listen to them, absorb them, and then just kind of see where my brain, like where I want to go with it from there. So
excellent. Yeah, well, you smashed this one out of the park, as I said. We've had to sit on this for a little while. Obviously, you did the remix literally just before the Vibe City album came out, so we had the original and we had the remix, and yeah, we had to kind of put that in storage, lock it away under key and padlocks and whatnot, until we could obviously let that one breathe for a little bit, and then bring this one out. But it's still got flavor to it. It's definitely not outdated. And I'm really enjoying playing this one out as well. It seems to be very popular on our promo that we sent out of the album as well. Have you managed to play this remix out at all in any gigs?
I haven't yet. Nope, I haven't yet. So,
well, there's a few people out there. I know DJ Rap is supporting it big time in the minute. She loved the original as well. So she's been playing it on a Cool FM show. On to the next one then. So the final remix that is involving ESKR is, of course, one of the greatest tracks on Dirtbox Recordings, one of the greatest EPs, in fact. It is by Traced, and it's a track that's been remixed twice on the album. This is the System remix by ESKR.
Go with the flow,
So there we have it. There's the final remix, the final installment from ESKR as well to this lovely, lovely LP that we've got forthcoming on April the 5th. So what made you choose? Because obviously I gave you a few options to remix for the LP as well. Obviously we already had the sonication track, but what made you choose the system? Why did you want to get your teeth stuck into that one?
Well, I would say a lot of it was like, well, first off, I mean, it's like basically a legend made it. So, you know, someone highly respected and stuff that made that. So that was a, you know, a fine point with that. But I mean, just the sound production, the sound, like everything in it was just great. And just to be able to like open up the project and just like go through all the sounds and just kind of see how, you know, he makes things was just like a, you know, a great thing for me to be able to, you know, to get into and just to see. It's like I definitely enjoyed that. But yeah, it was, I really liked that song and everything about it, the energy of it and everything. So I kind of wanted to see what I could do with it. I knew I couldn't do it better, but I just figured I could do it like, you know, sort of my own kind of style to it, I guess. So
yeah, it is good. And like I say, you've kept the party element to it. You've kind of taken away that tearing neurofunk and replaced it with something that obviously is more of a traditional drum and bass track, isn't it, as well? So really enjoying this one also. But yeah, it's great to get you guys together on that as well. Like I said, to me, sometimes remixes, they're basically like a collaboration, aren't they? It's not necessarily always you're flipping that track. It's, you know, it's almost you're just doing something to that track, and it is a true collaboration. And I think if you guys ever were to do a proper collaboration together on an original track, this is the kind of thing you can expect to come out. It's like a meeting in the middle, isn't it, almost?
yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. But yeah, I do have to give a shout out to Stonks too. He did amazing job
Oh,
on his remix of it too. Because yeah, I really like what he did. I enjoyed that a lot. So good job for him.
and thankfully it was a complete other direction as well, wasn't it? So it's
Yeah,
I like that. I don't mind giving two people remixing the same track as long as you get two different results, and I think we did it there.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So if we take away any track that you're involved in on this remix album, is there any other tracks? You mentioned obviously Stonk's remix there, but is there any others that you think kind of you noticed and that you're really enjoying on the album?
But yeah, he was a new name to me, but First Person did a remix, and I absolutely love that. I basically, yeah, that was the first thing I've heard of that person, and I did go to Beatport, and I saw he had an EP on there too. Was it Scamelli maybe or
Yeah,
something like that?
Skamala Records. It's he's involved in that label. He's like you are with Boom Slang. He's involved in that. It's a Dutch label. They've got a lot of releases planned this year, and we've actually interviewed him for this show as well. But First Person, or Kevin, as he likes to be called, he does spend a lot of time on the track. So he's not got a lot of music out there, as you can see, under First Person so far. However, he does stuff under the alias of Audio Killers as well, with a
Okay.
group of people. So if you want to look up some of his music under Audio Killers, there's some there. But yeah, it's crazy when you see a name like that and the level of production there. It blows you away. It's like, hold on, this guy's not just started. There's no way in hell that's happened.
Right. Yeah. Yep. It's really good. So if you haven't heard of him, I definitely suggest to check him out.
That's right. Yeah, and he'll be very pleased to hear that as well, coming from somebody such as yourself with a great back catalogue, Brett. I believe I said this to you on our previous one, but let's see if you've got any different answers now. So going forward for this year, who are the ones to watch out for other than yourself, of course?
Oh, I mean, I guess a lot of new names I would say for myself, but like a lot of the stuff I put on the new mix that I going to be putting out with you, but you know, geez, like people like Momentum, Subcat, was it ONP? Um, oh, let's see here. Bad Syntax. I mean, he's been around a long time, but I enjoy his tracks. But yeah, there's a whole lot of people that are new to me. Was this guy Scorpion? I think he's from like the West Coast, but all sorts of new names that I'm just loving. I'm just getting used to and getting to know now. So, but yeah, I'm just trying to keep my eyes open for lot of new stuff, and just keep open for a lot of new music that's coming out. So
yeah, and there's a lot of great new American names, like some of the ones that you just mentioned there. So it's good to see these guys obviously coming through, and you're at the helm of, you know, one of the brands out there that's able to bring them through as well. So that must be quite cool to be kind of one of the first people between the music being released and coming from the producer to actually get that out there.
yeah.
So apart from the music, then, what else have we been doing? I mean, obviously you live out there in the desert in Albuquerque, New Mexico. What you been up to if you're not doing the music? You've been very busy tidying that room, but what else have you had on?
Well, I do work like a full-time job with computers and stuff like that, like networking and computers. But basically, on my free time, I mean, at least probably like 4 or 5 times a week, I go out hiking out in the basically the mountains, the deserts, stuff like that, just to try to keep active and just, you know, work on my mental health and my physical health and stuff like that. It's just really becoming more of a priority for me, just in general. So, but yeah, been doing a lot of that. Hoping to get out to some more shows and stuff like that have been happening out here. Kind of, you know, try to get more involved with the scene, the Albuquerque scene. But
Is there
yeah,
much drum and bass going on there in Albuquerque?
I mean, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's definitely, it seems to be consistently like either a monthly or something that are going on. And actually I see them, they seem to be booking a lot of like US people and bringing people from, you know, different US states and stuff like that quite a bit. So seems to be you know, a US night that's supporting a lot of US artists, which is cool. I see a lot of people talking about that, you know, online and stuff about, you know, supporting more people over here and all that. So it is going on. So it's good to see.
You've got to. I mean, obviously, we're kind of inland. We're very spoiled here in England, and obviously being way across the ocean, it can be very expensive for events. Obviously, flying the main artists. So, kind of, you guys really do need to kind of build your local talent up as much as possible to make them, you know, up there. You need your Andy C of the USA. You need your Serum, and you need your Jade and your Teddy Killers that are USA based, don't you? So you've obviously got those headliners there and bringing them through, haven't you?
Yeah. Yep. I definitely agree with that. I mean, it seems like we used to have that, like what we talked about before, you know, like with all those names that we mentioned earlier. But you know, I do see a lot of people that do get booked quite a bit. And, but yeah, I would like to see more focus on it. But obviously there's the whole point of, you know, it's easier to see someone over here, and like a lot of the big names in the UK are big names, and they've been around a long time and they make awesome tracks. So, you know, when someone does, you know, spend the money to bring them over, it does have a big draw. So it's kind of a, you know,
Well,
toss up there.
you
But
need
yeah,
to you need to reach out to that local promoter. He might not even know that you're based in Albuquerque, and they're definitely, you know, if they're into US drum and bass, they're going to have heard your name. So yeah, make sure you reach out to those guys, and let's see you doing some slots over there pretty soon.
yeah.
Okay, we've got one last question for you then, Brett, and I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. I believe you're coming up to around, was it 12 noon, 11 a.m. over there, was it?
Yeah, just about
Yeah.
12.
So I'll let you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. But before you go, what does it mean to you to be on such a monumental milestone for us on Dirtbox Recordings? And obviously, you've got a big history with us in the past, right now in the present, and obviously in the future, we've got some releases planned as well. But tell me your thoughts on this project as a whole and what it means to you being involved in it.
Well, I mean, I would say it's definitely a huge honor to be part of it. You know, just the names of everyone that's remixed my tracks and the ones I got to remix, like, I mean, and then having 5 tracks on it alone, it's just like, I feel, you know, pretty excited, well, beyond excited about it all, you know what I mean, to be such involved with it. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see, you know, how everyone takes it, because I think, I mean, so far seems like people have been really liking a lot of the tracks on there. So, and it's huge. It's a, you know, a huge compilation altogether. So, yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm really happy to be part of it. So.
Brilliant. And we're very happy to have you on. I mean, just for the record with this, it was never purposely to have you have such a huge representation on there. Like I said, we had one guy, Sonication, asking for you to remix a track. that ended up on the album. Obviously, we wanted to give you a dibs on a track as well. But again, like with everybody else, I wanted to let people choose the music they wanted to remix. And before we knew it, all 3 tracks were snapped up from your EP last year to actually do. So obviously a lot of people were wanting to jump on that as well. And yeah, it was good. I didn't really do much steering. You know, there was 1 or 2 where I was like, right, I want you to remix that, because obviously you don't want to, you know, everybody remixing Traced and ESKR tracks on your release. Do you know what I mean? Because that could have easily happened. You know, maybe save that for another EP. But yeah, it was good to see you have that representation there, and first and foremost, work with you again on a nice project. It's always good to touch base with you, Brett, and it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I appreciate it.
And before you go, let's give some props to Mike Geigen, who should have been in this interview, but he's probably laid in bed or something. I don't know. Has he been out drinking last night, or raving? He's been partying. Who knows? But yeah, Mike, you missed a good interview, mate. We want to give the props to the T-shirt you designed. So we've got 2 designs for the 50th release. Obviously, it's not only the 50th release, it's the 5 years of filth that we're actually dedicating this to as well. So this is the 2nd design from Mike. As you can see, it is very Mike Geigen, isn't it? You can tell he's designed that. It's very individual, and yeah, I'm loving that. The
awesome.
Dirtbox TV. That's what that is. So these T-shirts, along with our other 50th release T-shirts, they're on sale now. Go over to our socials at Dirtbox Recordings, or even find the link on dirtboxrecordings.co.uk. We're actually selling them on Redbubble, but we have some very special individualized ones as well. They've got all the tags in, the proper souped up, proper Dirtbox ones as well. So get in touch if you want one. We'll get the links over to you. And of course, let us know in the comments what you think to the 3 tracks that have been remixed of Brett's, but also his 2 remixes as well on the 50th release. We'd be very, very happy to see what your thoughts are in the comments below. Brett, thank you again very much for your time. It's always a pleasure, my friend. Will you come back and speak to us next year?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Let's make it an annual thing. Definitely.
Right. Sounds good.
Take care, buddy. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks.
What's up, everyone? Lee UHF here, the host of Yo DNB Wraps. Thank you for watching our videos. If you like what you're hearing and seeing on the channel, please make sure you're subscribing to it. Please make sure you thumbs up the videos, and more importantly, let's get some comments going as well. It really helps the channel, and in order for us to provide this content to you, we do need the channel to grow. So we can't do this without your help. Hope you enjoy the video. Speak to you soon.